Republican lawmakers are starting to turn on Donald Trump, especially lawmakers in the Senate, where they are beginning to see Trump as a liability when it comes to their chances of getting reelected. Now, one of those Republicans who spoke out against Donald Trump is John Cornyn, who said the following in regard to Trump shutting down or ending funding toward community testing centers for coronavirus in 13 different centers, 7 of which will impact Texas. So Cornyn says, quote, "It's pretty clear to me, and I think it's clear to all of us, that with the uptick of cases, now is not a time to retreat from our vigilance in testing. I believe that they need to extend the federal support in Texas, at least until we get this most recent uptick in cases addressed." Now look, Cornyn has definitely cause for worry. There's no question about it. And if you look at how some of the incumbent Republicans are polling in the Senate right now, some of these Trump loyalists, they definitely have a cause for concern. Trump is hurting their polling numbers, and that's allowing them, because they're feckless and unbelievably weak, that is allowing them to finally speak up against Trump. By the way, Cornyn's statements echoed Cruz's sentiments a few hours earlier. A spokesperson for the junior senator said that he has, quote, urged and will continue to urge HHS and FEMA to extend the community testing sites in Texas. But again, Trump was very clear in stating that he wanted to slow the testing down. And now he's putting action behind those words by defunding these community testing sites.
So a number of things here. First, quick aside, Beto O'Rourke could have easily been Cornyn if he stayed a progressive and run in the Senate campaign instead of trying to be president and be an establishment hack. And so it's one of the most disappointing career fizzles I've ever seen in my life. So now it's a little harder to beat Cornyn, but it could still be done. And that's why he's in a panic. I mean, let's keep him open. Let's keep him open. Oh, all of a sudden, now you're concerned about coronavirus. Why? Because as always with Republicans, because it might affect you and your beloved, cherished political career. All of a sudden, Ted Cruz cares about coronavirus? Please. So why are they concerned? Spiking cases in Texas, record number of cases, more so than in March, April, or any other time. By the way, record number of cases in America, more than in March or April or any other time. Yesterday, record number 1, okay? So we're talking about like, oh, is there a resurgence? No, you're not getting it. It's worse than it was before. And so, Anna, Trump came out again and talked about how, like when we slow down the test, when we do testing, it's a big disadvantage, he said, quote, disadvantage, okay? Now, wait a minute. From a health perspective, testing is not at all a disadvantage. It is only a giant advantage. There is zero disadvantage in testing if you care about people's health and saving their lives. The only possible disadvantage is, in Trump's mind, the optics for his own political career. And so he is again accidentally admitting, I don't care about your life. The only thing I care about is my career. And it's not arguable. He shut down the centers in Texas. And now that's why Cornyn and Cruz are in a panic. We gotta open it back up. We're gonna lose.
And just to give you specific numbers to what you referred to earlier, on June 24th, we actually did break a record in the number of new coronavirus cases. So we set that record at 38,672 new cases. The previous record was actually back in April 25th to be exact, where we had 36,001 new cases of coronavirus. So the numbers keep going up. Donald Trump has made it clear he wants to slow down the testing, and now he's actually putting the action behind those words. And guess what is also happening? Well, reporters have done a pretty decent job in reporting on this. I will give them a lot of credit for that. And so since they've done a good job, the HHS spokesperson, Michael Caputo, is angry with them and had a call with reporters where he basically berated them and yelled at them. Here's a little tidbit from that call.
The reason why we put this call together so quickly and why we have upwards of 75 reporters on this call is because you've been spun up. Somebody has given you disinformation. You understand? I'm old enough to remember when it was considered dishonest to undermine public confidence in the public health system. That's what the people who spun you on this story are trying to do. This is less than 1/1,000th of the testing facilities in this nation. Less than 1/1,000th. And yet you're spending an hour on a telephone call, and we are taking people away from the fight against the coronavirus so that your information can be corrected. The people who told you this are undermining the public health system. And I would urge you, I am on the record with you, to call them back and ask them, why are they working to undermine the public health system in the middle of a pandemic? This is less than 1/1,000th of the testing facilities out there, and you've spent an hour on or more on it. Please report this accurately. Thank you very much.
Man, Cenk, I've been home, I've been social distancing, I am pent up, I am dying for a debate. I would love to be on a call like that. I mean, his efforts in attempting to intimidate reporters for doing their jobs, while by the way, totally trying to misinform them about what's going on, is just absolutely disgusting. Reporters, we're not happy with how that went. But I do want to just quickly give you some information and statistics about what's happening in Texas, which is going to be impacted by these community testing centers shutting down. First off, the director of emergency management in Dallas told reporters that he had requested federal support beyond June 30th and was denied. And of course, that federal support would go toward testing in Texas. And testing in Texas is very important right now because they are experiencing a significant surge in new coronavirus cases. For instance, on Wednesday, the state reported more than 5,500 additional COVID-19 cases. That's in one day. Governor Greg Abbott ordered all licensed hospitals in the hard-hit Bexar, Dallas, Harris, and Travis counties to postpone elective procedures in order to protect hospital capacity for COVID-19 patients. So we're going backwards, okay? ICU units will not be able to take care of patients who don't have coronavirus. They have to make sure that they prioritize coronavirus patients because of this uptick. Also, there are currently 4,389 COVID-19 patients currently hospitalized statewide in Texas, and that's up from a week ago where the state had about 2,793. So Greg Abbott, by the way, and officials in Texas wanted to prematurely open the state back up. They did it. They prematurely opened the state back up, and that has contributed to what we're seeing right now. And when Abbott was asked, well, what are you gonna do now? Are you gonna continue, opening businesses up? He said, well, we're gonna pause. We're gonna pause, but we're not gonna go back and have businesses shut back down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, what's the point of a pause? The bars, the restaurants, the gyms, they're all open. So what's left to open? This is absurd. So back to Caputo for a second. He says, you guys reporting what we're doing is dangerous to the public health. No, moron, you closing down the testing centers is dangerous to people's health. Us reporting it is not dangerous. But that's how they really think. And by the way, Caputo is literally a borderline lunatic. So this guy is a spokesperson for Department of Health and Human Services. He has said that he thinks coronavirus might be a George Soros plot. He has said that he thinks a Democrat might purposely spread coronavirus so that hundreds of thousands of people die from it to blame Donald Trump. Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, a total utter lunatic. And then here, I'll give you, and by the way, of course, you're gonna be shocked to find out also a racist. He has blamed the Chinese 1,000 times over, called the Chinese virus via Wuhan virus nonstop, but that's not all. He said it's because, quote, millions of Chinese suck the blood out of rabid bats as an appetizer and eat the ass out of anteaters. That's what he said about the Chinese and why this virus started. This rabid, lunatic racist is yelling at reporters while his department is shutting down testing centers and getting people killed. And now let me go to Trump.
well, are you slowing it down or are you not? And we've gone back and forth now. Was it tongue in cheek? Was it not tongue in cheek? First they said it wasn't, then he said it wasn't. And today he said to Christian Broadcasting Network, well, it's semi tongue in cheek. That's a quote. What the hell does that mean, you loser? He says, it's unfair, the testing, it's unfair. Who's it unfair to? The people being tested? The people being protected? No, he thinks it's unfair to him. It isn't about you, you narcissistic ass. He says it's unfair, we're doing so much testing, but so much more than any country. And to be honest with you, when you do more testing, you find more cases. And he says, I think we put ourselves at a disadvantage. It is not a disadvantage to do testing. It's only a disadvantage to your career, you think. And he says it makes us look way bad. Now, let me give you one last thing here because it's important, because his propaganda works with dumb people in the country known as Republicans. So in the case of coronavirus, you can argue about testing and the number of cases that are. What you cannot argue about is the number of deaths. So you can't fake that. It's doctors reporting deaths from coronavirus. It is what it is. There's no way around it, right? Even if you didn't do any testing, they would still die, right? So what is the world average? The world average is around 63 deaths per 1 million people so far for coronavirus. By the way, that is a devastating number. That's a giant number for a disease, 63. Now, some countries have done better. So remarkably, unbelievably, Turkey has done better than average, and hence their number of deaths per million is a little lower. It's at 60. New Zealand has done brilliant job, absolutely brilliant. This is per capita. It's not based on population. So for every million, you know what it is for New Zealand? Only 4 deaths. Why? Same thing with Turkey and New Zealand, but New Zealand did even better. Testing, contact tracing, and immediately finding out, quarantining the people that are affected. Their economy is in better shape and their health is in infinitely better shape. Now, how did the US do? Because Trump says, oh, we did such a great job, people are blaming us for it. So the world average is about 63. So are we at 62, 64, what are we at? 377 deaths per 1 million people. We are way worse than the world average. We have done an abysmal job. It's because of clowns like Caputo and Trump and Abbott and Cornyn and Cruz, who all thought, well, if we test, it'll be politically embarrassing for us. And they let thousands of people die on their watch. Current death toll in America is 125,000 dead.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks. I really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.